Right, so you're back in Northern Ireland for another visit.
Yeah.
How many times this now you've been back this year?
This year, probably about the third or fourth time this year. In total, probably about 10 times. I bet we're getting on there. It's quite a few times, yeah.
Right, let's just rephrase that this time. Work Northern Ireland into it.
Right, go on.
So, how many times have you been back here?
We've been back to Northern Ireland about 4 times this year. It's about the fourth time and about 10 times in all, I would say. We're getting on there.
So you must have established some sort of relationship to the place by this stage at least.
Yeah, definitely to the people. Anyway, everywhere we play seems to be like just a total euphoric party. So that's what that's the buzz of coming over, really.
And where are you normally playing when you're not playing here?
I'm playing all over the UK, and if we can get abroad, we'll go abroad as well. You know, just spreading the word of Dream Frequency everywhere. You know,
Yeah, like that.
Spreading the word.
Spreading the gospel.
Yeah, yeah.
So what is the gospel according to Dream Frequency?
The gospel according to Dream Frequency is go out there and enjoy yourself, and just get into the music for what it is. And I think we just try and, you know, with the help of Debbie and the rest of the band, the dancers and the show, just for the half an hour, 40 minutes we're on, I just want everybody to just go absolutely mental, like, and just lose themselves in it. It's total escapism, really, isn't it, Debs?
Yeah.
Yeah, Debbie, I mean, tell me, this is one thing I think that people who are a bit older, like myself, who go through the rock thing,
You're calling me older. No, bad.
it's sometimes a bit hard to understand this incredible youthful enthusiasm for this music that it's a different style of music completely. It doesn't have stars. It doesn't appear to have real songs. So what's the buzz that everybody's getting out of it?
It's just energy. It's just unbelievable for me. It's an unbelievable amount of energy that it takes to sort of put your message across, and that's to enjoy. But you also see, you are.
Sorry, I can hear something.
The girls down the corridor.
It's a train, I think.
No, I think it's an airplane.
Oh.
Is it inside or outside?
It's a train station.
Oh yeah, we got a train station next door.
I thought it was a helicopter at first, but apparently...
It's a tired old rocker like me finds it hard sometimes to understand what it is that young people are getting out. There isn't songs, there aren't stars.
I don't, yeah. Oh, sorry. Is it you?
So Debbie, what do you think is they're getting out of this, really?
Sorry.
What?
I just keep thinking he's calling me old. No, it's the energy. Like I was saying, it's the energy. It takes a lot of energy to go out there and put on a good show, which I think we do. But it's also watching the people enjoy themselves. The amount of energy that they expend, sort of having a good time. It's just, you thrive off of it, you know. No, it's not the same as, like, I won't say the good old days, you know, when you have proper bands and sort of live stage shows and all the kit and everything. It's not the same, but everything, why does everything have to stay the same, you know? It's different music. It's a lot more energetic than a lot of the things that I was used to and I grew up on. But it's good. It's, I mean, not talking about this hardcore, really stuff, but the stuff that we do is really good. And you still got basic songs in there with lyrics, with stories, you know, so it's not all the same.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with rock music is it has a tremendous ethos of laid back and coolness about it, whereas that's not at all in dance and rave. I mean, it's not about being cool, it's about being very hot.
Well, in a lot of the venues, yeah, but then that's unfortunately, we have to congregate where we're allowed. And the club situation is not the same as if you were going there just for a little handbag dancing and stuff like that, then you wouldn't be in the same sort of venue. Do you know what I mean? Places that we play at, they don't get it very often, so they all come out. Everybody comes out of the woodwork. And it's packed. A lot of them, it's packed, it's hot, and the energy, and you're dancing on the floor the whole night. It's going to get hot, you know? It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I wasn't just meaning hot, the temperature, but I mean that
everything.
The whole sort of mood is not one of coolness, it's of pitching in.
Energy.
I think there's so many sort of like hassles in life that
There's somebody walking in the background there as well.
ghostly footprints.
I can hear it
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about this. I just worry about major rumbles and trains. I worry about the small and stuff like that.
Okay.
See background.
Right.
So Ian, you were saying it's about the energy and
Uh,
something else.
yeah, it's back to this escapism thing, you know. I mean, you know, people have got like problems, and if they can just go out of a Saturday night just to enjoy themselves and just get away from that and feel part of something in that night, you know, with all the people coming together. I don't know, it's hard to explain when I'm standing behind my keyboards and I'm seeing all this going on. It's like, it's a bit like a religious experience. It might be overstated, but it's like, it's a gathering, you know, it's just of just pure togetherness, you know. I can't explain it. It's not like going to a normal club. It's just, everybody's just on one vibe, just
Yeah, see what some people say, this is, I suppose, this is the sociologist in me speaking now around the rock position, you know, is that the last 15 years in England particularly,
yeah,
not so much here perhaps, you've seen, you know, that emphasis has been on the individual rather than on this sort of sense of people being together, the collective, and, you know, communities have been fragmented, broken up one thing or another. You think in some way that sort of the rave is a way that young people are trying to reconstruct some sense of being
yeah,
together?
I'd definitely say so, because it just transcends across all, you know, barriers. I don't know.
It's just, to me, it's just the next stage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got different generations coming up, and each one of them has got their own sort of thing that they do, or their own sort of way of coming out. And
This
for
is
this time now, that's
for
it.
this time, this is quite, you know, this is like our thing, because everything's just so on top, you know. I mean, you've got stuff like the criminal justice bill, which I just think is outrageous. That's just the total them and us situation, as in the people in power not understanding youth culture whatsoever.
At all.
And just totally turning the tables the other way, you know. And it really is, you know, if you're living another lifestyle that's just not the norm, then you're just going to get sort of loads of grief for it. And I know the rave scene's sort of part of that. It's, you know, the old club culture's had a lot of hammer. I mean, it's still stayed together. It's been going like about 7 years now, so never going to stop it. It's just sad to see, you know, and I don't think the young people are particularly know how to sort of, I don't think half of them even vote to sort of get the people out who are doing this to us, like, you know, but it's a weird one.
You're talking about
I'm just talking about things like legislation that's trying to sort of stop a lot of the free parties. I mean, there aren't any free parties anymore. You know, councils have sort of like got together with a lot of promotions, and a lot of positive things have come out of it, but there's still a lot of an underlying sort of anti sort of youth culture thing that's, it's whether they can't understand youth culture or...
So
I don't know.
therefore, let's
I
stamp
don't
it
know.
out. Let's stop them from congregating. Let's stop them from enjoying themselves. It's just, but this is nothing new. This has been going on
I mean,
since
yeah, I mean, they've got
whenever, I mean,
Woodstock 2 now and things
exactly.
like that, you know, so... But it's all sort of sponsored this time.
I mean, this has always been a theme right from the sort of...
Obviously, there's always this youth and, like, you know, the rebel and, you know obviously. But...
You see, I suppose these sort of differences between authority and youth, they're sharp everywhere, but I think they're particularly sharp here in some ways because of the sense of...
See, from sort of like the person who goes to an event sort of point of view, I guarantee, like, none of those people going there want any sort of conflict at all.
Keep on getting noise, especially that. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, the people who go to raves and stuff like that, they're not people who are interested in any sort of conflict with any authorities. They just want to dance, that's all it is. And if you sort of get right to the nitty gritty, you know, all they want to do is go out, enjoy themselves and dance, and then you've got on one hand some guy saying you can't do that. I just can't. That from this way of thinking, you know, I can see how young people are just so alienated. And this is why, you know, when they live for Saturday nights and the dance music, because it's their music, it's our music, you know. It's sort of represented a sense of freedom now, perhaps.
Yeah, I guess the other thing I perceive is that the relationship between the performers and the crowd, the public, whatever you want to call them, is completely different than it used to be in rock. Where it was, you know, the function of an audience was to hero worship, basically.
Yeah.
But
It's not really
dance,
like
it's
that.
Not really, no.
I wouldn't say so. I mean, I don't know if it's anti sort of hero sort of thing, but at the end of the day, you're doing the music. I mean, I just do the music that I love doing, and at the end of the day, they can see that. God.
I think possibly the best thing to do, given this, is just to run on, and we'll just basically recut. And if I so perceive that you could just sort of
Yeah,
I'll
that's
give you a
it.
wave,
I'll
and
just
I'll
stop.
try and circle around if I do miss something because I just know. Otherwise,
Right.
you lose the
Yeah.
fluid sort of.
What was I going on about?
No, we're just saying about relationship between performer.
Oh yeah, right.
And
I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I was there, you know. Obviously, what I'm doing now, I feel slightly on the other side of the fence, where I'm making the music as opposed to just going out and buying it and listening to it. So I've got double. I feel like I've got double the pleasure because I can perform, and then I can go off and have a dance. So, but at the end of the day, I would like to think that the people seeing us Dream Frequency, they know we're just normal people like in the crowd, you know, and it's not really about, like you say, in the sort of rock sort of type of things where it's like total hero worship and all that jazz.
And untouchable, because we're not, you know, I mean, we write to and
Yeah, you know,
see all our, we write to and see anybody that sort of wants to come back and have a little chat and whatever. And that's,
yeah,
we've
I've always
that
been,
way.
I mean, that's my policy full start. I hate any kind of sort of arrogance, you know. There are other certain bands on the dance scene that are probably of that, you know, we are the pop star sort of mentality, but I just can't be doing with that at all.
that's the one thing I think that the sort of rave dance music has in common with the punk. It's sort of is more from.
But I think
of
there's
the
more.
people.
I mean, sort of the punk thing. I think there's a lot of negative sort of vibes against. I don't know. It just seemed really negative to me, the punk thing. But I can vaguely just remember it. But I think there's more positive energy. You'll remember it, Debbie.
Patrick Jackson.
You are a punk.
But some people said, you know, what you had was sort of, you know, the star system, and then punk was a sort of.
Yeah, it's like a not back.
Giving the music back to young people.
Yeah,
And then
that
you
was
had
the good. Yeah,
the star
but
system then reasserted itself again.
Yeah.
When punk died, or punk became commercialised, and then dance music is attempting to give it back again.
I think there's more longevity really in dance music. I mean, it's proved that 7 years, like, and it's still going on. I mean, really, I mean, the music industry who could not get to grips with, let me think, ploughing £100,000 into a sort of a rock band that never did anything, and then some kid with a couple of keyboards gets to number 5 in the charts.
I know, I felt it.
Yeah, some kid will do a record in his bedroom, it'll get to number 5 in the charts, and then the record industry is ploughing like £100,000 into a rock band. They couldn't understand that at the beginning, so I think they've sort of infiltrated the dance sort of scene really with a lot of labels and stuff to sort of try and get in on a financial basis. So whether that keeps it going, I don't know. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know.
Yeah, what do you think, Debbie? You think there is that dance music has got this closer to the young people than other forms of music?
Yes, but of course, they're the ones that are actually going out buying it and actually dancing to it. So, yeah. But I'm not. I know what I like to listen to, but then I'm completely different from the usual. Completely different from the usual people that actually come to see us. So I'm a little slightly older. So I tend to take it a bit more easy when I go out personally, you know, to do me stuff.
You mean you like listening to sort of Beethoven lick?
No, just a few beats per minute slower. That's how we sort of range the music, how fast it's going, how many beats per minute. And I like sort of housey, garagey stuff. But then I am a Black American female vocalist, you know, so I would go for more of the things that I do.
You're not really into the Rotterdam sort of stuff, are you, Debbie? Really, no.
Some people have said that, you know, just like sort of punk had its like a radical era and was criticism of rock and was anti-authoritarian. That's the way rave started, but it's now like sort of run out of steam. It's become safe. It's become.
Well, a friend of mine in a record shop had a theory that youth cultures come round every sort of 10 years or something. I don't know. 77 punk, 87 house. So I don't know what 97 is going to bring. Cyber house, punk, metal. Don't know what.
Haven't a clue.
I don't know if it's had its day. Like I said, I think it's just sort of filtered through into the sort of mainstream a little bit. But then again, it did in the beginning because like you've got all these club people sort of putting records into the charts, you know. And I can understand people feeling like, you know, once you know they're into this, it's this sort of scenario where you buy, you know, you're into an underground record, it gets into the charts and suddenly it's not your record anymore. But you know, because like your mainstream sort of people can buy it. So I think that's gone on anyway, you know, before. I don't really see it running out of steam. I think it's, you know, probably changed its forms. The swings and roundabouts, you know, I mean, it's like, last year it was all going really trancy, and then it's house, and then it's sort of like more harder, and then the BPM speed up, then they slow down, and I think that, you know, that just keeps the scene fresh, and like people come in with new ideas, and then it goes one way, and I think that's how the dance scene's just progressed through the last sort of 7 years, really. On the house music sort
But
of
the rave side of it, the idea of actually challenging the right of the state to say where you can gather, or where you, that side seems to have gone down. In other words, the idea of secret
right.
raves
I
and
think
all that.
basically people know they're in a no-win situation. You can't win really when all the laws are stacked against you. All you can do is voice an opinion, really, and I just wish people would sort of like think about this criminal justice bill that's going to come in and really totally have a big
Change
influence on
everything.
your life, you know, where you're going to go, how many people you can sort of gather with. I mean, I just feel strongly about that particular one because I do feel like that's really for the dance scene, and a lot of other things is just...
So people don't, nobody ever thinks that it's going to affect them until you think, oh, well, my sister's having a birthday, I'll have a little gathering for her, and then the next thing you know...
You're relying
it's-
on the police to use
you know,
a
their
little bit
discretion,
of
but-
discretion, but I mean, if they want to be funny, they could sort of
They
like
could
not
very
use
well
discretion.
stop you from having a family gathering with all of your family. If you have so many people in, that's it, you know, you're over the limit.
Well,
That makes no
people
sense.
you know, I mean, when the illegal parties were really stamped on, then people realised, you know, they don't want to be going out trying to get to a certain event in a field and getting beat up or coshed, or just generally sort of being made to ride round, you know, for hours and not go where they want. So they just...
Why do you think this sort of the Tories and the British government was so hard on the legal raves?
I don't know. I mean, really, because
Youth
obviously
culture.
you've got to mention the drug things and, you know, what was going on, and you can't have things going on like that, you know, fair enough. So
Things going on like what?
well, drugs in general going on, you know, a lot of, you know, and obviously, you know, let's be honest, there were, you know, sort of heavies probably moving in behind all the drug selling and all that.
But you're going to get that in. See, that's the thing.
Well,
You're going to get
that's
that in and
That's it,
everywhere.
You know what I mean, my philosophy
Be it it's in a
my
field or in a
philosophy-
club or whatever, you're going to get that anywhere. So you stop young people from gathering.
Yeah,
No,
I mean,
don't
there's a
think so.
lot more famous people been flipping doing drugs and sort of, you know.
Of course, in rock and roll days, eh?
You know,
Eh.
but that's what I'm saying. I mean, two wrongs don't make a right. I'm
Right.
not saying that, but it's just that seems to be the main thing. And also, the government really don't like a lot of you sort of gathering. I think it just frightens them. They can't really understand it. They see it as a bit of a threat.
Or don't
really.
take the time to actually find out what's going on.
What makes me laugh, though, right? What makes me laugh is, I'm not condoning drugs at all, but the drugs that the people were taking weren't the sort of drugs that made anybody sort of violent or anything like that. And the police were probably getting more hassle with people sort of getting steamed on alcohol and fighting and glassing each other every Saturday night. They seem to be totally like, yeah, we can understand that, we can handle that, that's what we're used to. And then you get all these 10,000 kids in a flipping field loving each other and all just partying, and there's no spark for a conflict. And I think when they come and sort of like try and move them on, it's just, yeah, all right, mate, how you doing? And it just seemed to me at the time, this is going, you know, when I was sort of going to illegal parties around sort of 89, the police couldn't sort of get to grips on that level because they're so used to confronting violent people, you know. It was really funny to see, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there was a really...
I think they understand a lot more now, you know, giving the police credit. I think they understand a lot more, and like I said, there's lots of legal events that have been put on, you know, with the councils and all the rest of it, but the vibe's sort of gone a little bit, and I think it's all gone back to clubs. Then again, you know, a lot of it's getting a bit, we've seen it all before, so you know, things calm down a bit.
One of the themes I get sort of coming from you talking about when you're trying to explain the energy that comes into it is this search for a sort of space. There isn't a lot of space for young people anywhere.
No.
Now this is something which I think, obviously, you know, in this film interests us because if the space is not much in England, it's considerably even less here.
Yeah.
Have you got any sense of that? You know, that sort of search. That's a search for very precious space that the sort of the rave dance provides for people. Having been here a few times.
Well, in Northern Ireland specifically. Yeah, I'd say that. I mean, I think the crowds are just so, you know, appreciative, really, that you've come over just to entertain, whatever, you know. And I think it shows. It's like when the people go out, they really go out to have a good time. That's one thing you can say. Over here, definitely. It was like, you know, we play some crowds that are good, bit reserved, which is bonkers over here. That's where I like coming.
Because you know, when people say that what rave did in England was heated divisions of various sorts. I've never been quite sure because I mean, has rave been a part of the black culture? I've never really even
Yeah.
curious whether
Oh,
rave,
yeah.
rap I understand certainly, but
Definitely.
Well, yeah.
It's sort of splintered
But
off.
it's-
I mean, it's sort
It just depends on what you're in, what type you're into, because there's the different sort of types of music
Yeah,
within
like-
the rave scene,
like-
you know.
like-
You got the reggae sort of in the
yeah,
the
obviously the rap
breakbeat
stuff and
business.
the jungle, which is like, you know, a lot of like reggae influenced and ragga influenced. You know, that's sort of predominant around London. But yeah, I mean, God, in '89 and that, in the parties, it was just like complete cross section, black, white,
Gay, straight,
gay, straight, bank clerk, labourer,
all sorts, you know.
unemployed.
And that, and to me,
It just went.
anything
It all.
that can bring all these type of people together without any problems, all for the love
See,
of the
they
music.
couldn't do that in
You
America.
know, that's brilliant.
You can't do that in America. In America, like, they've tried the rave thing. I mean, in certain states, you know, I mean, we're going out to Florida to do one in a couple of weeks, and you know, like that kicks off all right. But you know, obviously, a lot of there's maybe not as much mixing, sort of maybe racially. You always get a few shootings at an event in America and things like that, you know. So it didn't really kick off over there, you know. It's a bit
Definitely
weird.
more segregation there.
You know.
in America, but I'm wondering, it's not the same here. I mean, do not have the same such a degree of segregation here.
Well, not that I've seen. I mean,
Well,
all
to,
I.
to me, here is a big difference. In the States, you've got somebody that you can look at and tell is completely different to you by the colour of their skin. Here, you know, unless you actually sit down and start talking to somebody, you're not going to know the difference. To me, this is me being really naive and everything. So I don't see where it's as evident, it's as obvious as it is.
See, but
in
I
the
mean,
States.
you know, I mean, obviously from England, I don't really think like that anyway. I mean, I just come on, as soon as I come out, no matter where I am, if I was playing the Ulster Halls or if I was playing Manchester or whatever, it's just, I just see a crowd who are into the music, you know, so I don't really sort of thinking about anything, you know, any differences or anything. Just get on with
I
it.
think everybody here, particularly, it's a bit like it's more radical period rave when it came over from England.
Yeah.
Everybody thought that just like punk did here. Punk did bring young people together. There's no doubt about that across the divide. And I think rave did. I mean, person should be talking about this is Marky on the corner. But rave did for a while, you know, and certainly that's why people want. That's the energy. That's a lot of the energy. And I just wondered if you'd felt that at all.
Oh yeah, I mean, we did a charity thing. Trying to think where it was, in a sports hall in the middle of Belfast. Where was it, Karen? Maysfield. And I mean, that was 4,000 people. That's one of the best gigs. That is one of the best gigs over here that we've done. That really sticks out. It's just like a football crowd times 10. The energy inside that sports hall was just, they could have lifted the roof off, you know. And so, of course you can feel it, you know, you're coming off the stage and it takes you half an hour just to unwind. Your adrenaline's going that much on the pure buzz of the people, you know. That, to me, for me personally, that's why I like PAing.
That's the live.
If I was working a
live
full week
bits,
in my
yeah.
studio and then I go on and do a track and it goes down really well and everybody's just absolutely rocking, that's it. I'm
that
just
moves
happy.
you. It really, really does.
They don't say all the things afterwards like us lugging all the gear out, absolutely knackered and all that jazz, but it's worth it, you know. For that half an hour, I can't explain it. Maybe it's just the performer in me
But
deep down.
that's the joy in what we do. Do you know what I mean? We really do enjoy the live aspects of it.
I
Even
mean,
for, like, the dance,
we've just had
everybody.
we've just had a 2-week layoff on it, and it's just been terrible. It's just been awful, hasn't it?
Performance addicts.
I think we are, yeah,
Gosh, yes, you know.
definitely.
And once you've been out there and been bitten, as they say, and you think, oh God, they love me. Oh, yeah, that's brilliant. You just can't describe it. You know.
Just seeing the people after the gig, just walking out to the front and just shaking hands, and you know, just if you've made somebody's night or whatever, it's the best thing, best feeling in the world.